Welcome back, everybody. Sims Complete. As you can always guess, me and Big Phil having technical difficulties setting up, but we are here. We're ready to go. We're ready for, as John and Matt would say, football season. And let's get into it, Big Eye. How's everything going so far for you in camp?
Shoot, well, everything is good there. Hanging with the Giants a few days. I get to do the game tomorrow night against the Detroit Lions. I'm excited about that. I hope it doesn't rain us out because we're getting a lot of rain here in the Northeast.
Yeah.
And I guess real quick, the last thing I want to say, son, you know what I do in my life now? Wear more sunscreen.
Okay, Big Guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm teaching my son.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All
that's
right.
it.
Great.
You know, a lot of stuff going on. This is really, truly off the cuff today. I didn't write anything down. We're going to talk about some topics. And this is it. Free, what do you call this? Not free willing, something.
Free willing?
What is it?
Freestyling?
Freestyling. There you go. We're freestyling, baby. Let's go. We got a lot of topics to talk about.
But let's slow down here, though. So you're going back in the booth, and you'll be joining who in the booth now for the Giants call this week?
Oh, shoot. You know, that big linebacker we had on one side, opposite of Lawrence Taylor. So that's going to be fun. And then, of course, Bob Papa's in the booth with us, trying to keep things. Carl Banks, it's been fun to kind of hang around him a few days.
Yeah.
He's got some really, really direct, to-the-face comments, man. I mean, boy, he's a tough judger of the football.
Towards you or just in general, the New York Giants and the football landscape?
Directing football, the Giants, people, everything. He's really... Man, he's got some strong opinions, and it's kind of good to hear. He doesn't hold back, and it's going to be a lot of fun working with him, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited, too. I'm really happy that you'll be back in the booth, and I know you're pumped about it. I know Bob Papa is definitely pumped about it. I mean, that dude is a huge fan of yours, and
that's nice.
Just can't say enough nice things. Carl Banks, on the other hand, I don't think I've ever heard him say anything nice about you, but I don't know. That's just how you guys and Bill Parcells and all you guys were with that Giants team. I think, you know, the more derogatory the comment was, the more complimentary it was, really, in a weird way for you guys in your relationship.
Yes, it was almost like, that was so mean, you must really like me. Something like that. You know, there's a lot of things I can say to that, but that's the cleanest one I got. But yeah, we were having some good laughs about the locker room, just practice. Yeah. You know, Carl Banks, I'll just do one thing for the people. I don't like talking about the old game and the game the way it is now and all the practice. Right. I just don't do it. But Carl Banks goes, do you know we never took our equipment off in 8 years with Bill Parcells?
Right.
And then he goes, except one time, he says, look, I'm going to listen, guys. I can't do this speech here. It was very vulgar. Don't mess this up. Okay. You're going to go out there today. I want you to have your football pants on, but you can take your pads out of your pants out. Oh, coach, you're just too good to us. Right. One time. And, you know, and it was with such so many other comments. You go, oh my God, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Even I had to laugh about it. Oh God, who cares? I think some of the guys just kept it in their pants because it was easier. They didn't want to use the time and the strength. Just out of hell with them. I'll wear my pants on my pants too. But how about that?
You know, for you guys too. So like there wasn't shell practices ever where it was just shoulder pads and never. So you were always full pads, just getting after it. Were you tackling like consistently in practice too, like bringing people to the ground all the time?
No, probably not. But they should have, because they were kidding. 9-on-7 when you just go over your run plays.
Right.
We would do that. I'd have to come and hand it off, that kind of thing. And I'll tell you, I would be still tired from the Sunday game, getting beat up and everything. And here we are. And man, it was first defense against first offense. And I would hand it off and they'd get hit. And I go, oh my gosh, how do they do it? Because it was real, Yeah. And, but it was a different age. We had players that played up. Hold on, phone again.
Oh, there's that phone again.
Dang. Yeah, it pays to have a house phone.
It makes an appearance. Yep, the classic house phone of Phil Sims.
And there's never anybody on the other end. It says beeps and whatever, so I slammed the table.
Calls, yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, but what was the question? What were you asking me real quick?
Yeah, just about practice, the physicality of it, the fact that you were in full pads essentially your entire NFL career compared to
Yes.
nowadays. I mean, full pads it's a rarity,
Yeah.
the majority of the time you really are in just shoulder pads and helmets. And, if that, I feel like a lot of practices now as the season goes, you get less and less with the physicality of practice.
Yeah, and look, the league is so different. The game
Yeah.
is so different. Now it's about the pass. Most of my career, well, really all of my career, it was about the run around the league. The running backs were
Yeah,
stars,
but even
but it
though
started to turn a little.
Yeah, even though you say that though, you were only what was it, like 50 yards behind Dan Marino when he was breaking like tons of records like 3 or 4 years in a row, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. It was a great comment after the 84-5 or 85-6. I'm not sure. I threw close to 8,000. I might have. I don't even know if it was 8,000, but Dan Marino beat me like by 100 yards. And of course, it wasn't even flattering because everybody go, Dan Marino leads the NFL. And, can you believe it? Phil Simms was second. And I'm like, well,
But it's
jerk.
interesting though, too, is that like, at that time, you guys were just seen as such a run first team. I guess not a lot of people were giving you guys enough credit for the explosive plays that you were making down the field as the throwing football team when you did throw.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't want to get into all my career stuff, but in back-to-back weeks, that's all right. In 85 and back-to-back weeks, we threw for over 900 yards.
Damn, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, it was like 958 to be exact, maybe.
Right.
Monday Night Football, 413, and then 545, no, whatever, on Sunday against Boomer. And Boomer says, well, we got to lose to you. I beat you. I go, Boomer, sometimes you don't care when you lose because I threw for over 500 yards against y'all, so I don't care.
That's right.
Well, we went in our offensive meeting. Yeah.
You can't win a debate versus Boomer anyway. It doesn't matter. He's always going to have one leg up on you. As you would say, Boomer would say, all right, hey, enough talking about me. What do you think about me?
Yeah. Let's talk about you. What do you think of me? Yes. It's but it's all good, and of course, I don't know. But just going back to it, the league is so spread out. In other words, sideways, throwing the ball and all that, it's hard to have real physical practices. And like I said, the running game a lot of times is about deception. I got to remember this when I talk about injuries to the offensive line. This is I'm turning the conversation around.
Let's do it.
See if you agree with this. Offensive linemen really, last year, it was like an epidemic of guys getting hurt.
Yeah.
And I would say this, how many guys get hurt on running plays compared to pass plays?
Right.
I would say it's a huge difference. Because when you run, you're the attacker. You got the guy, you hit, you fall. When you're pass blocking, you're running back. The guy over here gets blocked. He falls into your legs. Somebody else falls, and you hurt your knee, you hurt your ankle, whatever. Does that make sense to you?
No, I know what you're saying, and I'd be curious to see what the stats are with that. And you're right. I mean, offensive line. We saw almost 70 different starting quarterbacks last year in the NFL too, and even early on in camp, it's just a reminder, I feel like, to all of us, just the amount of injuries, and it's that same rhetoric that we heard a year ago that, these guys, they don't do enough in the offseason, this, that, but it is the nature of the game in the league now. We're not going to put more of a workload on NFL football players after taking away some. And, it's just part of it now. And now it really is about the depth of your team. Even like the Eagles, because I want to transition to the Eagles here in a second. It's like, hey, they went out and got Mekhi Becton. They got a great offensive line, but they added another, big, strong dude, and they've been putting him at guard nonetheless, not tackle, at guard. So, I think that really, it just goes down to the GMs now just being, extremely strategic. And I think that's what was so great about the Hard Knocks too with Shane and the Giants. Just kind of seeing behind the scenes and like, what do they value the most for their team, the depth that they want in certain positions, the moves that they're trying to make. And that really is, I think, the name of the game is just setting yourself up for, the long run, right, of the NFL season and making sure that you kind of check all those boxes.
Well, we talked a couple of weeks ago to Greg Nedjma, director of pro personnel with the New York Jets. He just said it this cleanly. You got to hit the quarterback and you got to score points, whatever. Yeah. But, so I think the Giants, I don't want to get in the Giants doing the game, but they kind of remedied both sides. They really transformed their offensive line. It was arguably one of the worst lines in history of football last year. And that's, you know, I'm not a stat guy, but stats, they gave up 85 sacks.
Yeah.
Did the quarterbacks hold the ball sometimes too long? Of course. But every team does. Every quarterback's going to hold it too long for sacks. 85. The 1986 Philadelphia Eagles hold the NFL record with 104 sacks.
Right.
Because they had Randall Cunningham was running everywhere, and Ron Jaworski, who was always wanting to say hi to Lawrence Taylor, and those kind of things. So this whole thing, different.
And that's a team right there too. They 3 different starting quarterbacks. Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor, and Tommy DeVito, and Tyrod started on 2 different occasions. So it's it really is a big thing for them, and that's so let's kind of go now across the division. Let's go to the Eagles.
Right. Can't wait.
Early in July, article comes out talking about just the implosion of the Eagles season, the disgruntled management and players and coaching, all this kind of stuff. And then it really kind of got focused on 2 people, and that's Nick Sirianni, and Jalen Hurts. And, it seemed like there was a difference of opinion as far as how to run the offense and all this kind of stuff, right? The truth is they lost Shane Steichen, and he was a great damn coach. And it's really hard to replace a really good coach. So that's one for sure.
Right.
Does Kellen Moore, though, for you, can he come in there and fill that void, for Nick and for Jalen to right this ship? Are they a Super Bowl contender with Kellen Moore, as the offensive coordinator this season?
If I had to say yes or no, I'd say yes. Okay. I don't even hesitate. The thing that bothers me, this comes out, whatever. And the coach kind of, I'm going to stay out. Hey, don't stay out of anything. Your job is to manage the team, and you're the head coach, and the players are supposed to do what you tell them. And if you're not in that situation, if it's changed that much and you can't do that, then you don't deserve to be a head coach. Okay. Right. What other team in the NFL have we heard anything like this about this past year? How many? None. Is anybody? The quarterback doesn't like the head coach plays, and they see
definitely not a Super Bowl contender or a team that we think is a Super Bowl contender. That's for sure.
You know what? Yeah, you go and have a nice meeting. Coach, I kind of like whatever it is, but you're the head coach. Here's what I'm telling you to do, and either do it or I'll play somebody else. I mean, to think that I don't care who the quarterback is. You're not 50% of the head coach on the team. You do what the head coach has defined with this football team, what he wants, what he thinks gives him the best chance to win. Hey, is now Nick Sirianni going to go, hey, it's a big 4th down. It's 4th and 1. Should we go for it? What do you think, guys? I mean, it's his decision.
Yeah.
I wrote it, run plays. How about when you got a trick play, hey, this is the time. No, it's not. We don't want that now, coach. We want it later. I mean, come on. You got to really be in charge. There's many ways to do it. You can be a nice guy and still be firm with your players and let them know that you're the man in charge of this outfit. And you don't want to hear yes, sir.
I think that he is in charge, and I think that he is commanding that. I think that there is a little bit of that battle, though, at the top between him and Jalen, though, too, as far as just, you read the article, that came out, and, there's different reports from ESPN, then Pro Football Talk kind of had their reiteration of that same article. And some of that stuff really just sounds that like Jalen at times and Brian Johnson were kind of doing their own thing. And, they thought that Nick Sirianni wasn't quite seeing eye to eye with them two. We know that they had a prior relationship to this, being the quarterback coach, but even before then as well, and it just seemed like this is something that like week after week got worse and worse, and ultimately was a very divisive issue for this football team, and that's where, go ahead.
No, you said, well, Nick Sirianni, I'm saying you weren't strong enough.
Right.
You're the head coach. And if he didn't get any input in the offense, well, he should have.
Right.
Because what we watched all year long wasn't the same as we saw the year before.
Right.
And the concepts, the direction of it, and the playing. So let's don't leave that out.
Right.
The throwing of the football, taking sacks. There's many things that landed on the quarterback too. So, if, hey,
the lack
whatever
of
the head
production for
coach,
AJ Brown in a lot of big games too. That
well,
was
it's like he wasn't even out there sometimes.
He wasn't even
that
out
was
there sometimes. You could see that he was, just visibly disappointed in the offense and its direction at times as well. I mean, of course, there's no happy receiver in the world unless he's got 8 catches for
right.
150, but still, it was very evident that there was something brewing behind the scenes with this team the whole year.
Well, it could have been some bad play. How's that? We ever thought about that a little bit? Hey,
right.
We're not living up to what we're supposed to do. And, sorry, but I'm just not that guy. Look, I had a high school coach, and I don't want to get into this stuff, but I'm going to say it anyway. He stood and gave us a pep talk before the game.
Yeah.
Man, I went over to the other coach during warm-ups, and I told him, we're going to run the ball every single play of the game. Now, he's giving us a speech. I'm sitting in the back going, well, this is going to be great. But I disagreed. You think I said anything? Hell no. I had a college coach. Oh, my God, John Wayne. I mean, it's who he was. He walked around, and if he said something, by God, I was going to do it, even though I might have thought it was the damn dumbest thing in the world. I didn't say nothing because they're not going to listen. And, well, that's fine, Phil. You don't agree with it? I just play this other guy. He likes me. He'll do what I tell him. And, of course, I used to change Bill Parcells' mind all the time, Matt.
Yeah, I bet
being sarcastic. Yeah,
I bet, okay. Yeah, I bet you.
I mean, so that was what was great about him. We knew he was in charge, and he was in charge of the coaches too. They're going to do what he tells them to do. So, hey, look, I'm kind of picking up for Nick Sirianni a little bit here. I just feel
no, I can feel it, and I understand it too. And I think what's interesting though too is that with all the success that they've had, and the fact that Nick Sirianni, is one of the people too that helped Jalen Hurts become the player that he is, and one of the people that obviously helped bring him up through the NFL ranks and believed in him, really showed tremendous belief in him 3 years ago when everyone kind of wanted his head and wanted them to go out there and get a new QB and, to fix the quarterback problem because they didn't think Jalen was the answer. And yet the whole offseason, all he was saying that he supported this guy and that we're going to keep building the team around him. And he's got some of those things that you can't coach that we love. And, now it's unbelievable how it's kind of done this 180. And I really do think Kellen Moore is in a tough position because, for the Eagles, I look at this team being a team that can really be physical and run the football and then allow Jalen to do a great job of making the decision of, all right, this look versus that look, run versus pass, all those kind of decisions, right, that quarterbacks make. But my concern is that Kellen Moore hasn't been really known to be a super patient running type of coach. He's been successful. His quarterbacks have great stats. His quarterbacks tend to get hit a lot, and I just don't know if Jalen is a pass happy type of quarterback, and if that's going to be the answer for a team in the NFC East to be successful throughout the season.
My last thing would just be this. Sometimes a little controversy and getting things dirty and muddy or whatever you want to say, that can be a rallying cry, and then you can just come closer together. So in other words, we started the argument, whatever, it's out there. Now, okay, let's sit back, quarterback coach, coordinator, players. It might bring them together even more. And these kind of articles, I'm not saying anything against who wrote it. I don't even know. I don't care. But they have a tendency to look and try to make it sensationalized. So
of course,
I'm taking a lot of it with kind of a grain of salt. And I can't wait to hear everybody's comments on it.
We no more anonymous sources or a player or this, it's like it could be anybody. But, big picture, though, for you, right, with the Eagles, is Nick Sirianni, because, this is something that a few people have hinted at. Is he really coaching for his job this season with all the success that the Eagles have had?
If it falls apart, it would be his job. I would think. In other words,
what would be falling apart though, too, for you? How would you define that?
If they don't look the way we kind of expected to degrees or whatever, and they don't make the playoffs or have a first round playoff game and play horribly like they did in Tampa last year. I mean, come on, that was just, it was there. Yeah. And it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. So, but Nick Sirianni, I think Kellen Moore is going to help a lot. I really do. And these receivers are going to be much happier with him as the coordinator. And so will Jalen Hurts because he wants to throw the ball and be like everybody else. And, sometimes as a quarterback, you go, I just don't want to, do I have to turn around and hand the damn thing off all the time? Right. So whatever. And Vic Fangio's D coordinator. So they'll be better on both sides of the ball, I think, this year because of coaching. and Nick Sirianni will find a way to really take back control of this team. And I think, as we said right from the start, I think they're always a Super Bowl contender. They got just too much talent not to be.
That's right.
Let's move on. That's enough Eagle talk.
That's good for the Eagles. I mean, we got enough Eagle talk from a former Giant, right? And you're always a Giant, not a former Giant.
That's right.
Let's talk Brandon Aiyuk and the San Francisco 49ers.
Yep.
Haven't heard confirmation yet, but it does seem like we're getting closer to potentially a trade with the Steelers. This is all hypothetical conversations, but it does seem like if there is a trade that's going to happen, it seems like Brandon Aiyuk to the Steelers is a high probability one. And even Christian McCaffrey did an interview the other day and kind of referenced Brandon Aiyuk as like a former teammate. I don't know if he did that, just by accident or if it just kind of came out naturally, whatever. But with the San Francisco 49ers and their situation offensively, are they still a Super Bowl contender without Brandon Aiyuk, right? Or am I putting too much value into Brandon Aiyuk's skill set for this football team?
I don't think listen, I think his skill set is tremendous. I think he's route running, fast, agile, aggressive, smart. I mean, I think he's got everything you want in a first number one wide receiver. Right. I mean, he's just got the look. He can just come out of cuts. He can jump. He's got good hands. Yeah, the 49ers do a great job of getting him open. But, I kind of watched 20 plays of his today and I went, damn. I can put his name right up there with all of them.
He's a damn good route runner. And, one thing that I really like about him, too, is that he does not get enough credit for even just like the high football IQ plays of blocking the right defender, right? The formation shifts, motions, the activity that he's involved in the plays that maybe aren't particularly designed specifically around him, but how much of an impact he has, all the times where he's blocking defensive ends, linebackers, safeties, and not only doing it, but like doing it extremely well. That's an impact to me that I feel like Kyle and them, it's hard to replace something like that. Right. With like a rookie. I know Ricky Pearsall, we think the world of him. We think he's going to be a good football player, but like to think that he's going to go in there and like, hey, do what Brandon did as a rookie, that to me is a tall task to ask of a young man.
Kyle Shanahan, ex-receiver, high school, college, believes in receivers. If you don't block, you won't catch any passes in my system. So it's a fact. You were with him down in Atlanta, and I'm sure he was coaching the hell out of the receivers in to make sure they block down the field. That's even one thing. There,
Brandon and Julio Jones, just like Brandon Aiyuk, one of the best blockers on the football team.
I love it. A couple things I wrote down. When you're a good football team, sooner or later, you got to let go of good players because you can't pay everybody.
Right.
And that's where San Francisco is. Now they got their left tackle, Trent Williams, wanting more money. McCaffrey's been paid. We got Brock Purdy coming down the road. They took care of Deebo Samuel. I mean, they got Bosa. How many guys can you pay? They got more than that.
Right.
And so, it's this way. The Kansas City Chiefs got rid of the best wide receiver in football and won back-to-back Super Bowls. Right. So sooner or later, you just got to bite the bullet and let's move forward and kind of keep this, what we call run in this group or whatever it is, to have more years of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't pour all your money into 3 or 4 guys. And the other thing is, the rumor is the Steelers are really in on this and trying to make a deal. And do you get the feel? I mean, the Steelers, I know they're having a quarterback battle. We're going to talk about that damn thing. But they're all in, Matt. It's like they're going for it. Do you get that feeling when the quarterback thing, they get 2 of them. They didn't even say, we're going to give it to Russell. They brought in Justin Fields. They're looking at Brandon Aiyuk, and it's just, I got that feeling. They signed some good free agents during the offseason. Yeah. I mean, I think the Steelers look at this and go, and I think this is right. The O-line's gotten better. They got running backs. They got the quarterback situation. I think that's going to work out. They got Arthur Smith as the offensive coordinator.
Right.
And they got players.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not even going to go. I'm watching TJ Watt the other day because I was looking at some linemen from the Raiders. And I just went, oh my God, he's even better than we talk about.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? We talk about him, but he's damn better than what we say.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. He's made of iron. and
He's made a steal.
Made a steal. Whatever, you can't bend it. I mean, he just messes up right tackles and left tackles. He messes them up. He runs them over. He runs around them, and then he has that Kevin Green effect. When he hits quarterbacks, it really hurts them. It's just, this. They're just certain guys when they hit you, you go, "Damn, that hurt." And
the biggest thing I think too for the Steelers, just to remind everybody, is that this was a playoff team. Mason Rudolph really did a great job of coming in and being more than serviceable. We were very impressed with what he did and how confident he threw it in an offense that we thought really didn't have much of an identity, right? With Kenny Pickett behind center and just really what their philosophy was. And, now with Arthur Smith, what we've discussed earlier this offseason, we love this fit because Arthur Smith's he's a PO'd kind of guy. He's always angry. And, he's going to have a lot of fun things to incorporate Justin Fields into that offense. And if you add a Brandon Aiyuk to that skill group, I get really excited. I think this team really does have some good competitive, skill group. I'm getting distracted by the lawnmower in the background there by you. But
sorry, my wife's out there cutting the grass, so you got to put up with it.
That's right. But the Steelers are closer than we think they are. That's for sure. And despite all that, they were 27th in offense a year ago, which is not 27th, but they were a top 10 defense.
Yes, but they were 27th because a lot of it is they play that way to be in the 20s.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Arthur Smith, here's what I think about him. I like him as a coach.
Yeah.
I'm sure when he stands in front of, the players, they know he's the man.
Right.
And a couple years ago, they're playing the Giants in their last preseason game or whatever it was. It's pouring rain, and he is ripping his players up right and left. I mean, it was a preseason game, and I was like, damn, does he know this game doesn't count? And he was yelling at everybody.
Right.
And I think that's what, when I saw that, I just went, man, I'm a fan of his. And I think he really is the perfect match for the Steelers. It's not because of his run game. Yes, that's big, but it's because he knows how to incorporate the pass into it.
Right.
And when I watched the Atlanta Falcons last year, I never went away from a game of theirs, not once. And I watched a lot of them during the season and watched them close. And I go, they have a lot of great pass concepts. It's not like, we're going to run the ball and have little, just everybody runs this play in the NFL, but we're going to run, No, they had great ingenuity. I love their pass game. They gave their quarterbacks every opportunity to win jobs, to be starting quarterbacks. But they said, no way, coach, we're not going to do well enough to get that. So they got a lot of new faces up there or down there in Atlanta. But that's what I think about the Steelers. Let's go real quick. The quarterback battle. Just give me some thoughts real quick on the quarterback battle in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, this was what I was going to go to next. I think, right now, Russell Wilson, he's been out past few days, calf strain. Big picture, I think it's great for Justin Fields to get these repetitions, right, with the ones to really get sharp, get comfortable too with this new offense. And I think he kind of needs it a little bit more than Russell, given the fact that he just isn't as experienced of an NFL quarterback than Russell. Day one, though, I still expect Russell Wilson to be the starter. I think that is the better move, right, for the Steelers in the long run, is to start with him, because I feel like you don't want Justin to be the starter. It doesn't, the early season struggles like we see with so many teams, especially early on, offensive struggle. We don't want him to get, pulled too early, play Russell, but then, you really can't go back to Justin because you've kind of already taken all that momentum and confidence away from him because of a poor start. So I would lean kind of a little bit more towards the veteran in that way. And that way you can then sprinkle in a little Justin Fields and build up his confidence as the season goes. What are your thoughts on this?
Man, Matt, you took every word right out of my mouth, and it's perfect. That's how I see it exactly. That I would, if it's me, unless Russell just falls apart in the preseason, which he's not going to, I would play him. Just let the team slowly get off to the start and kind of, what's the word? Get going on what they're trying to do as a football team and as an offense. And you give him a little, you don't just look for the first sign of, that wasn't good, and let's take him out.
Yeah.
You give him a few weeks to make sure you're giving him a chance to show what he can do. Look, he's done a lot of good things in the NFL. And, Russell doesn't miss ordinary plays. And that's the one thing about throwing the football with Justin Fields. Man, I saw a lot of tremendous power throws down the field last year by him, a lot. But I saw a lot of short passes that were big and counted in games, especially at the end, where he would miss them. Throw it too hard, throw it too high, or not see the coverage the right way and make a bad decision, whatever. So that time, if you do it the other way and you start Justin Fields and you got to take him out and Russell Wilson comes in and plays well, where's that going to leave Justin Fields when the year's over?
That's
if
right.
Something like that does happen.
Yeah.
I don't think the Steelers will let this happen. And if he doesn't start Justin Fields, sooner or later, there's going to be a window where it's going to make a little sense to play him, and then we'll see how it goes. Yeah. But I think the Steelers, man, I've always say to you, I'm a terrible offseason guy because I just believe everything's going to work out. Yeah, right. But I just think the Steelers are really, like I said, I think they're loaded. And they got a coaching staff that's second to none right now. And this quarterback situation, I think it's going to work out. Just because Russell missed a couple of days, of course, on TV, it's over. Because everybody's rooting for Justin Fields. Right. I've never seen anything like it. Have you named one person that has said, I hope Russell starts?
I guess I'd be the first that I've heard. So,
but you say it in a different way. I mean, I want somebody that's rooting for Russell to say it.
I know.
And I haven't heard that.
I am rooting for Russell, though. I am, because I do feel like, with Sean Payne and the Broncos, I mean, listen, Sean just didn't want him, right? And that's the fact. Sure. And I think Sean kind of went out of his way to make it very visible to the rest of the country, right? That, hey, this isn't my guy, right? We never saw Sean Payne once ever do that, to Drew Brees and in his almost 20 years there in New Orleans. So that was something that I feel like he was kind of sending that message to everybody that, like, hey, we're moving on. I'm letting everybody know, even Russell know right here on the field, that this is happening. But, I love redemption stories. I do. Too. And I think I really want Russell to get an opportunity. And I think Pittsburgh is a fantastic place for that. Arthur Smith, like we've mentioned, it's a great match too for him. And even ultimately for Justin Fields, I hope in the near future, but not too soon, not right now, because I do want Russell to get his opportunity.
Hey, look, Russell Wilson, I don't know if he'd be this guy or not, but I think let's say it this way. If we think somewhere along the line during the season, it's going to be Justin Fields and he might finish the year up. And that puts Russell Wilson in a really funny predicament because he's so visible, so I want to say famous, all those things. Yeah. That would he accept being a backup and just really being that guy and being a great backup somewhere if this all happened next year? Right. And honestly, I would hope he would because he's, he'd be a great backup. And, he's still got a lot. He can still play.
He's got a lot to give to the game still. But you're right, though. He does have a little – he's not quite like Tim Tebow, but he kind of does have that effect on the media where he does kind of become a distraction, Now, Tim was like –
point. You're right.
He was in a whole nother stratosphere, but still Russell does have that effect on the media where it's like it's kind of hard to ignore him and the stories that are surrounding him. Yeah, he is a star.
He's a star. If right now, if the vote came to me, I'd have to vote him in the Hall of Fame. And I would. Okay. I mean, shoot, he had a great career for many years. It's sustained. He's putting up big numbers. They went to the Super Bowl twice. Those are pretty big things. I mean, my God, come on. He should be a 2-time Super Bowl winner, right?
Oh, I know.
So I'm not even going to blame him. I'm going to blame the play call. So, but because it was a stupid. Come on, it was a terrible call.
Well, I mean, even
they're killing just running the ball. They're right there near the goal line, and they have time to run him at least twice. Marshawn Lynch is just running over people, but whatever. Yeah, let's move on to the next topic.
let's move on. Because that
was good
for days.
I know we could.
In Arizona right now, Kyler Murray, Gannon has said he's not going to play any preseason games at all. He's good to go. Kyler Murray's even said to the media that he feels like there's that pressure to kind of win now for him and for the team, and really just I'm sure for a lot of those guys there that are, from the old regime that are adapting to this new one. How do you feel about just, Kyler not getting any preseason reps? Does that concern you, or does that actually excite you, the fact that they feel like he's ready enough to just go out there and play when the season starts?
Yeah, I think it's the last you said. They're excited about who he is, where he's at, and everything like that. And on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a big fat 0 to me as far as does he need to play preseason. One's his style of play, what he does, that's just all conducive or whatever to the game. Yeah. And he must be practicing well. It looks like he's in unbelievable shape, all that. And so he's one of those, I think for a lot of guys, they need, even some longtime veterans need some plays in the preseason. But when I watch him and think about him, I go, nope, he's good. They don't have to play him to get him ready for the season. He'll be ready when they go.
All right, great.
What do you think?
Great. Yeah, I agree. I think he, like you mentioned, he has one of those styles where what's the point of rolling him out there in the preseason, especially too if you have question marks in certain positions of the offensive line and all that stuff. And it's not like you can really say, hey, Kyler, don't make plays, just check it down. Like he's going to go back to what is innate and natural to him when he plays, and that's just playing free. And I enjoy this, and I really am looking forward to seeing what the Cardinals do in year 2 of the Gannon regime, because I really am a big fan of what they did a year ago, how tough they played, how competitive they were, and I'm excited too to see if they get some early involvement with Marvin Harrison and Kyler Murray going and really start to rebuild this team again.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they're going to focus the passing game to Marvin Harrison. Right. Like any of these big guys or whatever. Just take Malik Neighbors with the New York Giants. Right. Well, I think everybody in the league knows, hey, the Giants are going to feature Malik Neighbors, and they're going to do whatever they got to do to get the football to him. So we all know that. Everybody knows it. And the same with Marvin Harrison. Hey, when in doubt, we're going to throw the screen to somebody. Let's throw it to Marvin. Just let him have the screen. And that's the part to do. Keep him happy, give him stats. The world's happy with Marvin Harrison, just everything. And as you were talking about Arizona, it just makes me think. I look at so many teams. There's going to be 2 or 3 teams that come out of nowhere. And who are they going to be? Is it going to be Arizona? I just thought about this. Yeah. The Atlanta Falcons, the division they play in, they could come out of nowhere and have a good year and get in the playoffs. And, there's just always a lot of teams like that. And last year we got the Green Bay Packers. Right. Bopping along, nothing. All of a sudden, Thanksgiving, here we go. And they were, probably could have been in a damn Super Bowl. That they were that close.
Even the Tampa Bay Bucks. I mean, I feel like they were a few plays away from potentially playing in, a championship type of game or a Super Bowl because of the way they were playing late.
Oh, so they're the cardiac kids. Yeah. I mean, just give Baker one more chance.
That's right. That's right.
And if you protect him, he's gonna make a play.
He is. And let's talk about a few other, QB competitions right now. Okay, so Las Vegas, they got Minshew, they got Aiden O'Connell. Haven't heard yet for this weekend who's getting the official start. Both will play about a whole quarter. Right now, though, who do you give the edge to?
We kind of did this probably a month or more. I don't know when we did it. I said, I know it's okay. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I don't forget what I say. Well, sometimes I do. Sometimes Aiden O'Connell. I think I look at it and say Aiden O'Connell is a throw it on time precision player. Right. We know what we're exactly getting with Gardner Minshew. We're getting some of that, not a lot, but off off the chart here a little bit because we're going to move and throw it, and I'm going to headbutt somebody and whatever. And so they're 2 completely different styles. And when I say that, the style I think would make me comfortable, make you comfortable, is the guy that we know is going to be the processor, get rid of the football, is accurate, has really good size, and can get rid of the he doesn't. Aiden O'Connell, he got downplayed too much. Oh, he didn't throw the ball against the Kansas City Chiefs. Right. Well, you dummy. The coach, Antonio Pierce, is over there going, we're winning the game. It's going great. Let's just don't take any chances. And but now the story. Well, Aiden O'Connell, he didn't throw any passes in the second half. Shut up. Right. That's what it takes to win a game. Yeah. If I was out there, yeah, I'd be a little disappointed if it's over. Like, damn, couldn't we throw a screen or something? But
Right.
you'd be happy that you won.
Yeah.
And Antonio Pierce, actually, that was a really, really well coached game by him for doing what he did instead of turning around the other way. So we'll see how it goes. Who do you like in that battle?
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean towards Aiden O'Connell. Really, it's all going to depend on who Devontae Adams wants to be the starting quarterback. So we'll see what Devontae thinks. That's the biggest thing. But I am excited about just, Devontae Adams, if he does stay a Las Vegas Raider, because there has been those rumors of him potentially being on the trade block.
Right.
But I like the thought of Aiden O'Connell with Devontae Adams, Brock Bowers, and Michael Mayer, and having that multiple tight end set going along with, and we know Antonio Pierce, like what we saw, he's not making it like, hey, we want to run the football. He's got that Dan Campbell type of attitude. He wants to be physical. He wants to be tough. He wants them to do things like in that way. And I just think that combination of the skill group with Coach Pierce's attitude, is a great mix. And to have, Gardner as your, reserve guy that you call in there late in the game. All right, great. He can come in there and make some plays happen for you. Let Minshew magic, develop and go from there. So those are my thoughts on that. Yeah.
Great one. You know what it is? You convinced me.
What?
Let Aiden O'Connell be the guy. And if we need that spark in the start of the fourth quarter somewhere, let's bring in the guy that is not afraid to do this stuff. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
You're right. But you know what? Then the week goes over. We win the game. Gardner does it. You know what? Who am I starting next week? Aiden O'Connell. Let's keep going. Now we got this guy behind us in case we need it, because NFL teams are not going to be excited enough to play emotionally every single week.
Right.
And Antonio Pierce, he's not Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell wants to bite your kneecaps and ankles or whatever. And Antonio just wants to knock you out.
That's right.
I mean, that's come
fair.
on.
That's fair.
Man, if you gave him a chance, he'd put a helmet on with no pads and go out there and stick it in there and try to hit somebody.
He's a Tom Coughlin, old school giant guy. So there's no mistaking that. And
not a bad guy to learn from, Matt. Tom Coughlin.
Not a bad guy at all. Not bad at all. And now in Washington, let's go to this real quick before we kind of wrap up this show.
Yeah.
Jayden Daniels named the number one quarterback. Not a real shock. I don't really think that there was much of a debate with this quarterback room. But still, Dan Quinn has raved about him, saying that he is impressed with the fact that he's had such a understanding and command of this offense so quickly. Even Zach Ertz has kind of mentioned too that he's really impressed with Jayden. Even though he's a rookie, he's doing everything that he can to get on the same page and understand the way that he sees the football game. Does this surprise you that he has been impressing everyone so quickly in this NFL camp?
God, not at all. I mean, I think I would, this is the truth. I would be so shocked if it wasn't this.
Right.
Because you did too. I watched so much of Jayden Daniels during the season on TV. And then when I studied him, there's some things I'd like to clean up, whatever. But overall, he's the big smooth. I mean, he is just Mr. Cool. I don't know what else to say. Throws with great rhythm. He's got a little, he doesn't overpower the ball, but he's accurate, spins it. And of course, he has a good feel where to move. And hey, we're going to see it just like we did at LSU. When he turned the corner, I'm not sure, a couple times, and there's DBs that are all playing in the NFL,
more
Alabama, whatever.
Yeah.
And he turns them, goes outside, gives them the angle, then turns up the field and goes like 70 yards. We know the play. I can't remember if it was against Alabama or somebody.
It was Florida.
It was Florida. Thank you. And he outran everybody like it was nothing.
Yeah.
So I like if you said, I'm not the guys, going, oh, Caleb Williams is going to have a better year than any rookie quarterback and all that. I don't know. I think it's a toss-up between him and Jayden Daniels, who's going to play better as a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, and I think that's what was fun, too, about the Hard Knocks episode with the New York Giants, right, is that you can clearly see that Dave Ball was very impressed with Jayden Daniels, really thought very highly of him, was like, yeah, I would absolutely trade up for a player like him, so clearly got a great feeling from him in the interview process from watching film, obviously watching a lot of film of him and Malik Neighbors together. And what also I like, though, too, about it is that, I think we're downplaying, even in that same episode, they even mentioned too that Jayden's not a super vocal leader, but we have seen in the past year and a half, he has really made an effort to improve in that field. And I kind of want to say that, Dan Quinn is a really great leader in that regard of helping players kind of find their voice. And I could see Dan Quinn and Jayden having those conversations and how to really motivate people, and Dan even sharing stories about him and Matt Ryan together and how he was and how he carried himself. So I think those things are extremely important, and why the draft coaches, head coaches, and quarterbacks, that marriage really is important. And I think that's going to be a great one with those two.
Here's what makes Jayden Daniels a leader in my eyes. A couple things. I'm always trying to dot it down, because if I don't dot it down, I'll forget it within 10 seconds.
You dot it down now.
I got it dotted. Dot. Explanation.
All right, get to it before you forget it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No, I got it. First, he's got one thing that helps you be a leader, and that's big time talent.
Right.
And I think the other thing, everybody, I don't hear it much, but when you see him in person, he's just a bigger guy than you think.
Yeah.
He is every bit of 6'4", and he's not like Twiggy out there the way everybody tries to make it out to be. Yeah, he's a thin guy, but he's got a lot of muscle on him. And then he has the personality it's not, do this. It's just, it makes guys around him feel comfortable and want to follow him. Right. He's that guy, Right. So there's many ways to get it done, but he does it with his play, the way he treats people and all that. And, listen, they look up, a lot of players on the team, as a head coach will tell you, everybody's got their eyes on the quarterback. And I'm sure everybody in that locker room is checking him out going, man, he's just a good dude. We love him. And you know what? Damn, he's talented too. So, okay, all those things work for you. And he's in a great situation. What you just told me about, Big Dan down there coaching in Washington, that he knows how to kind of handle these kind of situations. Like you said, he worked with Matt Ryan a little bit and probably just gave him some little pointers that he thought would help him lead the football team even better. And that's what I think could be said to Jayden Daniels, sorry. And it would really stick home for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
The lawnmower's killing me.
Yeah, you're the man.
It's killing me.
And on the lawnmower, we'll wrap it there. We're
all right.
It was a good show. We went 47 minutes today, so we gave the fans what they wanted. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, it was good. It was good to kind of get back into it. I'm excited too that we'll have our first round of preseason games this weekend, which will be exciting. So we'll kind of watch some of these games over the weekend. We'll obviously micromanage and, dissect every little thing that we see. And hey, we'll pick it back up and talk about just where we see some of these teams and where they're projecting for this upcoming season. But Big Phil, always a pleasure. You the man. Right.
And what's my motto for preseason football this year? What do I say?
I don't know. You tell us. What is it?
Oh, I've been griping and moaning and bitching that I'm not going to over evaluate what the hell's going on in these games. So
that's just you say that, but we'll see. Yeah.
I'm gonna hold it back a little bit this time, but I'm so excited to see it. I'm excited about doing the game tomorrow night, and all weekend there's going to be games on. Man, we're going to watch them, and it won't be many starters playing anywhere around the league, but it's still going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, so thanks. Good luck with Bob Papa and Carl Banks. That'll be a real fun one. And Sims Complete fans, we'll see you again here soon. Like, subscribe, follow us. Check out the YouTube page, Sims Complete. Check out all of our videos as well on the Believe Network too. And we'll be back with more football stuff. And excited again for this football season. It's right around the corner, so we'll be back. See you.
It's here. Okay.
It's here.